Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, jikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Greetings, beautiful people. My name is Simon Javan Okello, and I am so excited to be here with you for another amazing session of the Daily African Proverbs. And as usual, every Wednesday, I have the wonderful Chioma Sheri, who is a gifted writer, poet, creative, and just a wonderful human being, a wonderful leader. And today, we are going to discuss a proverb from Somalia, and three of the lessons that I'm hoping you can learn from this discussion today is number one, how not to be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Number two, give yourself time to adjust. I want you to think about this before I tell you the proverb. And then number three, take some time for yourself every day to relax and rejuvenate, even if it's just a little. Take a little time just for you. The proverb from Somalia says, an old wound will not go away. An old wound will not go away. So think about that for a moment while I welcome Chioma Sheri to just share with us where she's joining us from, how she's doing this morning, and also what her interpretation of this proverb is. But also, there are a couple of things that are amazing that we are doing today. Number one, we are doing a giveaway. We are giving away 2 books, 2 copies of Rooted in Love, which is my book that, was released this Monday. And Chioma is going to share with you how you can get a copy of this book. And Chioma is, so generous. She's, she's literally supporting this Wednesday giveaway. And, I feel that, you learn a lot from me, but I'm learning how to be more generous from you,
I'm learning from you, Simon.
Anyhow, I'll let you share with us, just how you're doing and what your thoughts on the proverb is. And also, I'm urging everyone who is joining us today to know that there's a poem coming. Chioma normally takes this proverb and turns it into a poem. And that's really the most exciting part of my week. Every week, I just look forward to this Wednesday session. But Chioma, before I pass you the mic, I do want to urge everyone on YouTube who is watching this, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also push the thumbs up button so that when we go live tomorrow and the day after, YouTube can notify you. And then if you are on Clubhouse, please remember to ping in 3 to 5 people to join us for today's conversation, and also join us on stage if you are able to. Remember to clap, remember to share this conversation as you may feel moved to do. Chioma.
Yes. Okay. So an old wound will not go away. This is a really interesting proverb for me. I think the word that really kind of got me was old, this idea of an old wound. So when I first read this, I was like, it sounds very matter of fact. Like I was thinking of like a physical wound too. How oftentimes like physical wounds that are like old, they oftentimes don't go away. They're still there. Like we can still sort of see them, even if they faded a bit. We can still see where that wound is or was. So like the question is kind of like, okay, you now, like how do you navigate life with this old wound? And like there's just certain wounds that like we may acquire over life that like they won't disappear, they won't be erased, but it's like how do you like handle that old wound now, or how do you move with that old wound in your life? But I was also really taken aback by the idea old again, and I was thinking like, old wounds were once fresh wounds. So when I think of an old wound, sometimes I think of something that wasn't really tended to maybe the right way, or didn't receive the proper care that it needed when it was like a fresh wound. So this proverb is like an encouragement to heal and deal with wounds when they're fresh, so that they won't become old wounds. So that is sort of my interpretation of the proverb. And I like that you said, "Do not be hard on yourself." This morning, that you opened up with that, because I feel like in some ways that like this proverb does also say that as well. So yes, that's my interpretation.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, and again, thank you, Stella. Stella is in the audience, and she's the one who generously picks. She takes the proverb, picks actually the proverbs that we discuss. We have a database of proverbs, and she picks which one should we go with, and she also picks, what are the themes that we need to focus on. So she sends me a lot of themes to consider. Then I pick the best 3 that I want to consider, that I feel that are best for our conversation. And today, as Chioma was saying, the first one that I picked was that, and this is in alignment with this proverb, don't be too hard on yourself, because whether the wound is physical or emotional, it will never go away. It's always going to be there. So just be gentle with yourself, and then give yourself time to adjust. The wound normally heals. It will heal whether we like it or not. If it's a physical wound, it will heal whether we like it or not. If it's an emotional wound, it will heal whether we like it or not. So just give yourself time to adjust and take the same path of healing and transformation as the wound itself. And then we also look at the importance of taking some time for yourself every day to relax and rejuvenate, because a lot of the time, especially in America, people are always just looking forward to vacation, vacay. But then the vacation, not everybody has the luxury to go for vacation. So imagine if you had a little vacation every day, even for 30 minutes. I get my 15-minute vacation. The first time I wake up, I meditate, and that's my first vacation. Yeah, so I'm just giving you guys a tip. Now, today we're also going to go even deeper. These are some of the things that Chioma and I are going to cover today. We just covered Chioma's thoughts on the proverb. We are going to go into a story from Chioma's childhood that this proverb reminds her about. And then right after that, Chioma is going to share with us a poem that she created out of this proverb. And then after that, we are going to talk about Chioma's reflections on International Women's Day, which was yesterday. And this month is also Women's History Month. So Chioma is going to just share with us her reflections on that. Then right after that, we are going to hear from you, our speakers, and our friends on Clubhouse. And also, if you're on YouTube, I really want to encourage you to remember to share the link to today's video, and also share the link to my channel with your friends and family, and help me grow this channel. Fred was saying that there is growth in the subscriber base, and that's true. We are putting in the work, and we can't do it alone. So thank you so much. Chioma.
Okay, so before I tell the story, I'm just like really excited because I just see so many of my people in the YouTube and here in Clubhouse. So I just kind of want to say hello to everyone. So many familiar faces, like people who continuously like come back, like M. Jewel and Fred. But I see my friends, my sisters. I see Sherelle, I see Nicole, I see Marla, I see Waitzel. So I just wanted to shout some folks out, just say thank y'all for being here. Now for the story of my childhood, it actually reminded me just of this little story when I was about maybe around like 5 to 7. I'm not sure the age, but I know I was young. And this is when I was like my first childhood home on that block. So I was probably like about 5 to 7. And I remember our neighbor, her wanting to carry me on her back. And she might have been maybe like 3 or 4 years older than me. And little me, I was just kind of like, I was like, no. And then she's like, no, come on, get on my back. I won't drop you. I won't drop you. And I just kept saying no. And she's like, please, come on, it'll be fun. I won't drop you. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I got on her back and then she started to run. And then literally when I tell you within seconds, she dropped me. And like I scraped my knee. And that was honestly probably one of the like longest lasting physical bruises that I've had. It's kind of crazy because if I still look at my knee now, like I can still see it. Like when I look closely, like I can still see it. Like it started to like fade over the years, but I was just always really like impressed by how long it stayed, but also just like how every time I see it, like I think of that story. I'm just like, oh my goodness, I know exactly when this happened. I know what the story was. So it reminds me just of that story for some reason, because like in terms of like a physical wound, like that's one that has really stayed with me for like the longest. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. You know, you already know that I'm a father of 3 girls, and sometime, especially in the summer, when I wear shorts and you know, when they see most of my body than in the winter, they ask me questions about my scars, you know, because I have a lot of scars. I grew up in the ghetto, so and then I'm a boy, so growing up in Manyata slum in Kenya, you know, you end up with a lot of scars, especially if you really grew up there. You know, if you want to know someone who grew up in a place like Manyata, you know, ask them how many scars they have, you know. Anyhow, each scar has a story, and the scar that you're just describing has a really beautiful story, and that's what we are here for today. Chioma, do you want to actually talk a little bit about the giveaway to give people time to think about it and work on it, or should we wait a little?
Okay, we can be nice and give them time, I guess. All right, so this is going to be the harder one. So this means the next one is really easy. So the harder giveaway. So the task for this giveaway is you can either find and message Simon. So this is like a direct message, Simon, and tell him the proverb of last Wednesday. So it's the proverb of last Wednesday.
And you have to message me on Instagram right now. The first person to send me a message with what the proverb for last Wednesday was is going to get a signed copy of Rooted in Love, which is my book that just released on Monday. So we'll give you... Should I look at who gets it now?
Did they get it already? That's too fast.
I already see one message.
Oh my goodness.
I already see one message. Let's see if this is related to this. Hold on. No, nobody.
Okay, cool. I was like, that's super fast.
Nobody has got it yet.
The second one, I feel like this one is so easy, Simon.
Yeah, it's so easy. I don't want to give it away, but the hints are everywhere, you know.
Okay, so maybe that one we'll do at the end, towards the end.
Yeah, let's do the second one towards the end, and whoever sends the message first, could you just repeat what the giveaway is just one more time, so that those who are just joining us can also have the privilege of knowing what it is. And then the first person who sends a DM for me on Instagram gets the book.
Yeah, so the first giveaway is whoever messages Simon the proverb from last Wednesday. So that's the first giveaway. You have to DM him on IG. And the second one, we will talk about the second one afterwards, but that one is really simple.
Yes.
So we'll say that for later.
Excellent. Now, Chioma, would you like to go to the poem, and then we'll come back to your reflections on International Women's Day and Women's History Month after that?
Okay, yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
So The proverb, an old wound will not go away. All right. Old wounds are like old rooms that haven't seen cleaning out and dusting for years. Left untouched, old rooms that nobody wants to go into. Old wounds are like old lovers who break us after being given a second chance, whom if we see on the street we cringe and divert our eyes from. Old wounds are triggering, holding the gun, asking will you stay or will you run. Old wounds can come after us, chasing us down in attempts to take us back to where we were. Old wounds are reminders of what was and what has happened. But old wounds need not devour us, need not put their hands around their mouths to silence us, need not make us afraid to do, to live, to try again. An old wound will not go away, but an old wound need not be the premise or the ending of our story. And that's it.
Wow, thank you so much. I love it. And it's in alignment with the three themes that I picked up for today's conversation. For those who didn't catch the three themes and three lessons we are hoping you can take away from our time together. The first one is don't be too hard on yourself. The second one is give yourself time to adjust. And last is take some time for yourself every day to relax and rejuvenate. So with that, we want to move on to your reflections, Chioma, on International Women's Day and also Women's History Month. Before you do that, for those who are on Clubhouse, please join us on stage when you're available. Today's session is going to end right on time or even earlier because Chioma has to travel. And then secondly, we have to continue encouraging you to subscribe to the channel, share the link to this conversation, and also invite your community members to support the YouTube channel. If you can do that, I will really appreciate it. Chioma, I'll pass it to you.
Okay, so my thoughts on International Women's Day and Women's History Month. So I kind of told you last week that Women's History Month for me, I feel like I'm still kind of getting sort of adjusted to, because I'm often used to Women's History Month kind of not really talking about people of color so much. So I think for me, having International Women's Day kind of does the opposite of that. It's I was really amazed by when you go into Google, the icon, and I was like, oh my goodness, so many brown faces in here, and I just see more people from different places being acknowledged and shouted out. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is really what Women's History Month should be. And these are the people that it should include. So for me, International Women's Month is just, I don't know, International Women's Day to me is just really beautiful. It really makes me think of the just importance of just people across the globe, and for us to not just think of what's happening within our own countries. And it also reminds me of just the contributions that immigrants have made to this country and just so many places around the world. Another thing I was just really thinking about International Women's Day is how other countries practice it, or what it looks like in other countries. That was something that I was curious about. Because I know sometimes it can be so, I guess, Western centered. So yeah, those are my thoughts. But for me, yeah, International Women's Day really made me excited, because I started seeing a lot more just women of color on my timeline. And I was like, this is beautiful. This is what I like to see. So yes, that is my thoughts.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I love that. We have a winner.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are we gonna announce the winner?
We have a winner, and it's someone that he's someone who actually deserves he deserves this win. It's Fred Barrett, and like you're saying, he shows up every day. So he must have probably had it somewhere written already, you know.
I'm not surprised, Fred.
Fred. Okay, congratulations, Fred. So I will mail you a signed copy of the book, sometime today. So you should have it, by later this week or early next week. I appreciate it. We do have another book to give away. So if you want to get a free copy of Rooted in Love, which is my book that released this Monday, you can get it courtesy of this Wednesday session of the Daily African Proverbs. Next Wednesday we are doing another giveaway, so don't be late. Remember, next Wednesday we are doing another giveaway. We are looking for other sponsors. If you want to buy 5 books and make it part of the Wednesday giveaways, we want to do as many giveaways every Wednesdays as possible, so that our community members have access to this book, while it's still new on the shelves. The other thing that I'm going to be doing today is I'll be live on the morning update show. It's on Converge Media here in Seattle, the morning update show. It's an amazing platform, so check it out on YouTube and Facebook. This is the Converge Media has a really rich history as a media production house. It was founded by Omari Salisbury, who is an African-American journalist who was trained in Tanzania. So he left Seattle and went to Tanzania for journalism training for a while. So he worked with some of the biggest media houses, not just in Tanzania, but also in Kenya, because at that time, internet was only available in Kenya. You had to fly from Tanzania to Kenya to do some of your internet related projects. And so he speaks Kiswahili well, and we are working on a show together that will be airing every Saturday at 11 a.m. PST, most likely from May. So just stay tuned. The show is going to be called Afro Optimist, and I'll be hosting that show. It's going to be all about Africa, but from the perspective of why we should be hopeful, why we should be more optimistic about Africa. I'm excited about all of these developments, but the book and the giveaway is what I'm most excited about right now. Chioma, let's continue on here and maybe give space to some of our friends to share their perspective, so that we have enough time for you to run away. And I really appreciate you for actually showing up today, even though you're traveling. If it were me, I would not do it. So your commitment is truly, truly appreciated. Anyway, we have Aduoa here with us on the stage. And for some reason, Clubhouse is also showing that Fred is called Aduoa. But if you tap the second name, at least that's what I see. It's Fred, but it's appearing like Aduoa. So technical glitches here and there, which is normal. I do want to just invite Aduoa to quickly share with us your perspective on today's proverb. Share with us how you're doing, where you're joining us from. Thank you so much.
Good morning to all, and I am M. Jewel on Clubhouse on YouTube. Anyway, good morning, Chioma. I have this red bar, so I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
We hear you so well, and this is what's amazing. I don't know if you all see this, but I do see, now I hear you and I see you well. Everything has been, organized well on the stage. I do just want to invite Tiff quickly and Johnny and Census to the stage. These are like family and people who helped build this program, brick by brick. So if you can, please join us on stage. Aduoa, the mic is yours.
Yes, thank you. So over the past couple of years, I stopped watching television because the information is so poisonous. And last night I watched a film, Nollywood film called Heaven Sent, about a young woman whose life is saved by her parents by going to a traditionalist to mark her skin, to put cuts on her face to save her life. She was ill, and her life is spared, and she grows up to have shame about the markings, and the people in the village uh, taunt her and uh, make her feel bad. She has a best friend who invites her into the city. They then live together, and then she learns how to use makeup to cover her scars. And it's the way she covers her pain, and she begins to mistreat people. She finally finds love, and the love of her life teaches her that her scars are her beauty. And when I think about that, I think about the scars that I have, how they came about, and how they make who I am. Uh, I've often wished that I could have as well had those traditional scars from my people, even though I'm American born, but I do believe my ancestors are, in fact, African. And so when I think about this proverb, I think about the beauty of how the scar adds to me. Even though there have been some scars that have come by way of pain, those things have also been able to help to transform me. And so I give gratitude and thanks for them, regardless of how they have shown up. But I'm always grateful to be here. This is my sacred space. It's the way that I start my day. Uh, Thank you again, Chioma, for your presence as well, Simon. Congratulations, Fred, and good morning again to everyone in the chat. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Yeah, thank you, Joel. You've been so consistent with attending and just supporting, and it just encourages me every time I show up and I see you. I feel like I needed to be here. So thank you so much, Fred. You're equally generous. So I think when you give, you get. And that's what just happened today. So Fred has been donating a number of things that we are sending to Kenya. I've been filling up a container with music instruments, computers, and a ton of stuff that I'm sending to Kenya for the education, music, and art program that Steve is actually leading. Steve, who is in the room, is the person who is helping me run that program in Kenya. And Stella is also in Kenya, where we are running this program. Stella is helping with a lot of our social media work and digital marketing, including our blog, Raise Your Consciousness blog, that is going to be available for you before the end of this month. It's going to be available. It's going to be breaking down our conversations here in the Daily African Proverbs in a more educational way, in a way that you can grab the lessons and take them home with you. So I want to continue on and invite Fred to share with us his perspectives. Let us know where you're joining us from as well, Fred, and your interpretation on this proverb.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for the book. I actually had to count the days. I'm like, wait a minute, it was 6 or 7 days. Okay, let me go back. But I'm still, matter of fact, I'm still packing up equipment to put in the big box. I'll be sending out this week. But I'm always looking at the origin of words and the way words are used. Now, people use scar and wound in a synonymous fashion. A scar, by definition, is a mark left on the skin after a wound or injury has been healed. A wound is still open. When we use the word old does not necessarily mean completed or dead. We can look at something, oh, that's old, but that thing still has a presence, it still has an energy that's emanating. We're just keeping the wound open. We can look at a tree. Oh, that's an old tree, but is the tree dead? No, it's still living, it's still here. Then when I look at the word wound, sometimes people, when they live with that open wound, they live their life wound up, twisted. You got wound and you got wound. So it's wrapped around you. That's how you see things and what have you. when you go through healing, you have to unwind that aspect of that wound and let that thing die. Because the old wound just means it's still here, it's still open, you still see your life or your perspective through it. Meaning it's not healed. That's what I see on that proverb. Now you're the mic. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I see that Chioma is taking notes, so you'll hear her comments on all your amazing contributions in just a moment. We'll go on and listen to Brother. Brother, how are you? Where are you joining us from? And what are your interpretations of today's proverb from Somalia?
Peace and love, family. This is Brother Herb. I'm calling from the North Carolina territory. And, I'm well today, Simon. Gratitude again for always having this beautiful platform for us to share the wisdom of the ancestors. And what I add to the conversation, or most of the time, I or most people look at wounds as, something hurt or negative. It has a negative connotation to it. Or and it's an old saying, you know, you shouldn't necessarily look at it for the bad aspect, but look at you shouldn't look at things as taking a loss. You should look at it as a lesson. And a lot of times, just like you say, old wounds have stories, as well as certain we gain experience and wisdom from certain wounds, and you shouldn't necessarily remember the negative part or the scarring part, but the valuable lesson that we get from it. Peace and love, family. This is Brother Earth.
Thank you so much, Brother Earth, for your contribution and for your presence. Let's hear from Rushi. Rushi, my brother Quinton, whom we visited and traveled together in Kenya for days, together with Steve as well. Rushi is in Seattle, is from North Carolina. Well, I'll not say much. Rushi, you should say it for yourself. How are you? Where are you joining us from today? I get excited when I see friends and family. So, and I see that he got excited and he kicked himself out of the room on Clubhouse too. So we will move on. Yeah, we hear you now. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here. I am in Charleston, South Carolina today. This is my hometown I am in today. So I'm back home, just kind of relaxing myself. But this proverb really struck me today because for yesterday, as I was home, there was this I had a bee in my it was a bee or some type of insect in my house yesterday, and I had a broken broom that I picked up really fast to try to kill this insect. And as soon as I did that, I cut my hand. And I saw my blood rushing out of my hand. I said to myself, look what I've done now. You know, and the crazy thing is, yesterday I cut my hand. The last week before that, I cut my thumb. So it's been a week after week I've had these small wounds or these small scars where I had the opportunity to see my blood coming from my body. So for me, whenever I see my blood coming from my body, it's a humbling experience when you feel the pain. You try to get the blood to stop, and once that pain goes away, you feel a sense of relief. But I also took the time to look at the old scars I've had on my body. And one thing that I've noticed is a lot of the scars I have, they either come from me being careless, uh, not paying attention, uh, rushing to do something. And the thing is, what I've learned is I try to teach myself is I got to practice patience with things. And that's one of the things I've had the hardest time to do in my life is practicing patience. I have a birthday coming up next week. On Sunday is my birthday. And as time goes, it seems like my patience it should get longer, but it seems like it's shorter because sometimes you feel you're not in the position you want to be in. So I've had that feeling, and it seems like sometimes when you rush things, you make mistakes, and that's when accidents happen. And I feel this proverb spoke to me in that way. Like old wounds, they won't go away, but you have to when you see them, you have to notice what they are and remember where they came from and remember and try to get the lesson from those scars, whether it was a self-inflicted wound or it was caused by someone else that hurt you. You have to find a way to actually understand and gain knowledge from the wounds that we have, whether they're physical or mental or spiritual. So I think that's what I took away from this Somalian proverb is old wounds, they don't go away, but they're learning lessons and they're there to teach you a lesson when you do look at them. So I feel that's what I picked up from this proverb. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, my brother Quinton Rushi.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Chioma is busy taking notes. She'll respond and comment on all your contributions. Steve, how are you doing? I'm just happy that you're here. Thank you for hosting me, and having a dialogue with me around Rooted in Love. Share with us where you're joining us from and your thoughts about today's proverb.
Yo, hey Simon, and to everyone in the room, to Chioma, everyone on stage, my sister Senses, my good brother Johnny, Makumba, and everyone in the room. It's so good to hear your voice. Simon, thank you for your consistency and your strength. You've been rolling in this room for over a year now, and it's such a testament to your commitment to the work. And you know that I will always encourage you and lift you up because I know where your heart and your intent is. I am tuning in from Dayton, Ohio. Today I'm at home. I haven't really got moving yet. I did drop off my daughter at school, but I am vibing with you all and our ancestors before I get my day started today. When I look at the proverb, an old wound will not go away. An old wound will not go away. Clearly, the word in this sentence that sticks out to me the most is wound because it's different. It's a difference between being hurt and being wounded. Being hurt is taking a blow, falling down, but to be wounded means that something has been divided. When you're wounded, there's division that takes place through your skin, through the membrane that lies under your skin, through your tissue, and sometimes even through your muscle and your bone. That's when a wound actually happens. But when you're hurt, you'll get a scab, you'll get a little bruise, you'll get a scar. But it's the vision that takes place that will never go away. Even when you crack a vase, you can glue it back together. But the chemical makeup of that vase will never be the same, and the crack will always be there. It's just covered up. So when I look at this proverb, I'm reminded that there's sometimes, or there's some situations in our lives where there has to be division, where we have to separate from people, we have to separate from environments, or we have to separate from things that no longer benefits us. Maybe they continue to hurt us, causes us, to suffer some blows or some bruises, and there is a separation. There's a wound that needs to happen because if the wound doesn't happen, the separation will never happen. And that way, it'll never go away. Thank you for allowing me to share, Simon. This is Tiff, and I'm done speaking.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Tiff. For those who are meeting Tiff for the first time, she's also one of the people that helped us, build the Daily African Proverbs to what it is, and has always defended it, in public and in private. She has always been one of the biggest defenders of this space. Same applies to Johnny, who is going to speak later on, and Sensas, who is just about to share. Sensas, how are you? Where are you joining us from, and what are your perspectives on today's proverb?
Hello, Simon. Can you hear me?
I hear you. You seem to be on a train or something, though, but I hear you very well.
I need a new phone. Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning, Chioma, Adwa, brother, Tip, Johnny, Makuba, Roshi, and Fred. Great to join this space with you. And this proverb is really just very timing. An old one will not go away. For the past week or so, I've been on and off the app or just specific on certain issues because I found out that the wound of a conflict I have gone through before in 2016 and 2013 in South Sudan is still there. And just going through looking at the visuals from the Ukraine and Russia war brought back some of that trauma. But then to add to it too is that certain parts of South Sudan are flaring up with conflict and the government is not taking action, you know. So there is also that wound um, that still exists. One of us informing the international community so that they can take action. One of hurt and jealousy, that envy rather, that sanctions are given so fast to make a change in Ukraine, but with some of our countries, even though we're losing lives, that action isn't happening. And those wounds are there. Sometimes they hurt a lot. They hurt a lot that can make us to start losing our own humanity, um, because we're challenged with what amount of humanity can I give when I am also not considered as humane or worthy of the same. And it also rips you of your empathy. And so I sometimes take time off to try and delve into my well of empathy and remember the love that my grandmother has had for everyone she passed on, and how it didn't matter what was happening to you, she'll bring you and raise you up in her home. She wasn't working, she was just a dedicated church member, but she will find food for you to eat. And at least through that, she hoped she could heal you, with love and empathy. So part of it is really also embracing the wound and saying that, yes, you're there and you're hurting. I can't cover you up. I have to accept you and work with you to see how I can heal you so that we heal together and we're stronger, my body and my spirit, to move forward. And that is really what I wanted to just add up. So thank you very much. Yes, Simon, we are going to have your book launch. Let me just drop into a well of strength before we do that. But thank you all. This is Census. I'm complete.
Thank you so much, Sensas. I can completely relate with everything you just said. Having lived and worked in South Sudan for an extended period of time, together with Steve, actually. Steve was also in South Sudan with me for the work we were doing there. Steve is in the audience for those who are on Clubhouse, and he was also on YouTube chatting there a little bit. But, the war and the death in South Sudan has been going on for over 50 years now, but many people don't even know about it. And Ukraine has just happened for about 2 weeks, and the whole world is, responding. So what you're saying, and in relation to this proverb, I'll let Chioma pick it up in a moment, but I can totally feel where you are and why this is, so such a difficult time for you. And also you shared with me news of what was actually going on right now in South Sudan and how people are being displaced. And I'm just sending you love, and if there's any way we can support through this platform, if you want to join me as a guest over the next few days or next week, once you are more settled, to talk about it more, so that we can then use the video to spread the word. That's one way. Just let me know what we can do at our capacity, and we will make it happen. Johnny, how are you, and where are you joining us from today, and what are your perspectives on this proverb?
Peace, Brother Simon. I'm doing pretty well. I'm joining from Omaha, Nebraska, the birthplace of Malcolm X. When I look at the proverb, an old wound will not go away. At first, I really wasn't going to say too much. And then Brother Fred that came on and kind of echoed some of the sentiments on which I was thinking. And then Brother Earth hat came on and he spoke about the wounds, the scars, the pain not necessarily being a bad thing. And I think that's kind of the direction that I'm going to go with my interpretation. It kind of reminded me last year around this time. I don't remember the proverb, but I think it was something about like don't miss out on the moon chasing the stars, or it was something along that line. And what kind of came to me was that that when we have scars or we have wounds, it's a reminder that we have lived. You know, sometimes to not feel nothing. I'm not afraid of feeling pain. I'm afraid of not feeling nothing. You know, we say the opposite of love is hate. Well, the true opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy. It's to not care, to not feel, to not even give a fuck. Excuse my French. So it's like when I think about it, and I think about that proverb from around this time last year, I had wrote down some notes of I don't want to be a star. Look at the moon and her scars. And I think it's a reminder that there's a beauty in living. And that's kind of what I want to remind us in that in living, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be beautiful. It's not going to always be peaches and creams. But the scar itself, the healing of that wound itself is a reminder of how far you came. And there's healing in that. So old wounds won't go nowhere. They're meant to be a reminder of how far you came. Thank you, Brother Simon, as always, for creating this platform. And I just look forward to hearing the rest of everybody else's interpretations.
Wow, thank you so much, Johnny. You know, if you're living, you have to embrace the wounds that come with it. Thank you so much. Makuba, how are you? Where are you joining us from today? And what are your perspectives on today's proverb?
Good morning, Simon. Good morning, everyone. Simon, thank you for this space. It's always so refreshing to check in with my ancestors through you. It's raining here in Georgia, and so I just went outside and I let my bare feet touch the earth, and it felt so good. And then I clocked in to this proverb. But this proverb's, when I read it and I looked at where it's from, I started digging and researching, looking at Somalia and Kenya and Uganda, because they're all within those countries together. And for me as a mother, I remember how my grandmother used to say this proverb. But I also remember when I look at my daughter and I see that my C-section scars came from the Bonoro people in Uganda. It's very powerful. A few weeks ago, my husband and I were traveling on a highway. And out of a sudden, a 40-mile-per-hour road, we were doing a toddler came out of the bush. At first, we thought it was an animal. And as we stopped, we found that it was a toddler. He was barefoot. His clothes was wet.
Hey,
He had
Makuba.
only a shirt on.
Makuba, this is Simon. For some reason, you sounded really well, but then you began sounding like you got into the matrix. I wonder if you want to jump.
Oh, can you hear me now?
It's much better now. Thank you.
Okay. So when we looked at this toddler, he crossed the street and a car almost hit him. So we stopped the car and went to the toddler. And we looked at his arm and we could tell that he had scars, wounds from a West African country, because he was wearing a bracelet. We called 911. And long story short, his parents had been looking for him. The people were from Congo. They were doing a party for him, but because he's autistic, at about 3 years old, he had disappeared from the house unknowingly. I say this to employ upon us that we all have different wounds, but it depends your perception to the wound. Wounds are made to transform you, and wounds are made to have symbolism for you. So do not take your wound into a negative sense. This is Makuba, and I'm complete. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Makuba. I'm grateful for your contribution. Let's quickly move on to Jay, and you'll hear Chioma's perspectives on some of your responses. And also, Chioma is going to share with you just quickly, the giveaway. There's a giveaway before we close. And hopefully we have time for the poem as well. But I just want to take this moment to actually promote Chioma's platform as well. So if you're on Clubhouse, please follow Chioma. She's right next to me up there. And if you use Instagram, I just want you to know her Instagram handle so that you can follow her there and read some of her poems, because without Chioma, we would not be doing this Wednesday session. So it's at chioma.sherry. Okay? All right, Jay.
And thank you so much. And wishing everyone in this room a good day, whatever that means for you. I'm wishing you a good day. Makuba, thank you. I'm putting on an event and I have a vocalist. I could not decide what song I wanted that vocalist to sing. And when you said it's raining in Georgia, it just occurred to me, yes, I want him to sing the song A Rainy Night in Georgia. With that in mind, there are 2 wounds, and I have 2 wounds on me, just 2. One, I remember when I was in a car accident. It was my first wound. And the second, it was mentioned about childbirth. One of my children was due to a C-section, and I have 2. And they're 2 different kinds of wounds. And so you have physical wounds, and you have those physical wounds for different reasons, and those memories about that wound is for different reasons. And then you have the emotional wound that your mind remembers in an entirely different way. And so wounds can be a good thing in terms of an outcome, such as that birth of a child, is needed and necessary, but the outcome is good. And that there are those wounds that are caused, that pain is caused by something that is negative, that is wrong, that was unnecessary, and your mind remembers it in a painful way. And some of those wounds are shallow, and some of those wounds are deep, and you don't forget. And unless Johnny was saying, when you don't forget those really deep wounds, and you remember the hurt and the harm and the pain and the suffering and the anguish, you understand when someone else is going through a similar pain in their life, and your sympathy and your empathy, your love and your care and concern kick in. This is Jay, and I'm finished speaking. Thank you so much. Be well.
Thank you very much, Jay, for your presence and for your contribution. Chioma, I'll pass you the reins of this show now. Do whatever you feel that is right. I want to encourage you to, just pick maybe 3 of our friends that you want to share their remarks. And also feel free to share with us the poem, the giveaway, because I'm being mindful of your time.
I appreciate it. All right. So, yeah, I feel like so many people said so many great things. Like, oh, I'm so grateful for this space. So I'm gonna just highlight some of them. Johnny said, wounds are a reminder that we've lived. The wounds are meant to be a reminder of how far we've came. And I just thought that was beautiful. Just like wounds are a reminder that we've lived. Let's see. Yes. Okay. And Rushi said, this was actually something that I was also thinking about, how sometimes like some of the wounds or scars we get can come from us like being careless or rushing to do things. And so reminding us to like practice patience. I just thought that was really beautiful. And then he said, wounds, they don't go away because they are learning lessons. I love also what Tiff said. So Tiff said that wounds they remind us that there are situations in our lives where we need division. That like sometimes wounds need to happen because if they don't happen, the separation that's necessary doesn't happen. And I thought that was like, ooh, thought that was a word. And I'll share, I think, one more. And I think it was actually Fred who was talking about there's a difference between wounds and scars, and that a wound is something that is still open. So we need to sort of like unwind that wound and still like, you know, heal it. We need to heal it. So those are the ones I'm going to share for right. There's so many though, so many. Like literally, I have so many highlights. But yeah, those are the ones I'm going to share because of time. And I guess the last thing I would want to do actually, because I just felt like this ended very beautifully with all of y'all interpretations. The last thing I would want to do is the last giveaway. So this giveaway is super easy. It's actually funny. Simon came up with it. I think it's funny.
I think
Okay.
I should not be the one coming up with giveaway ideas because I really want to give away, you know.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, Simon, that's so simple. Okay, y'all. So this to how you do it, you can respond by typing on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, you can type this out on YouTube, or you can type it to Simon's direct message on Clubhouse or on IG, however you would like. But you have to be fast. You have to be the first person to do this. Okay. So I hope y'all fingers are ready. I feel silly doing this. All right, but we're gonna do it. All right. What's the name? What's the name of the poet hosted every Wednesday in the Daily African Proverb Room? Go ahead. You have like literally a few seconds. Let's see. This Simon came up with this.
Let's see. I see MJL got it.
Yay!
And
Yes.
so I think it's MJL that has this one. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see.
Congrats.
I think Census has it too.
Ooh.
So we might end up giving actually more books today than we anticipated. So I think Census needs to get one. And also, I realized that someone messaged me on Instagram, and we are not following each other. So, I just saw the message now, but I don't know who it is because their username is Afribab Chick. So I don't know who that is. But
I know you must be here. Announce yourself.
yeah, so Afriba Chick, Afribab Chick also got the first answer.
That's me. That's me, Simon.
Okay,
once again.
okay.
Oh, so you making sure you got it.
MJ, you have one.
I'm all over the place.
You have one name for YouTube, one name for Clubhouse, and one name for IG. Now I got it. Now I'll just send me your address through IG, and I'll be able to mail you the book. I'll mail Fred a book, and I'll also mail Chioma a copy of the book. That's it, right? That's it.
Census, you mean?
Huh?
You mean census?
Census, yeah. Census, yeah. Anyhow, these are going to be signed copies of Rooted in Love, and I'm just so grateful. And remember, next Wednesday we are doing another giveaway of Rooted in Love. So please spread the word, and thank you. I'm so happy that you know the name of the poet that we host here every Wednesday. That's very important. Chioma, thank you so much for your time and safe travels. And also, I just want to quickly give a shout out to Victoria Njau, who has been an amazing supporter of the Daily African Proverbs, who is on Clubhouse with us, and Laron, and of course Steve. Steve is actually a big player in the One Vibe world, so connect with him, and also connect with Stella. Those are people who are helping me make this Daily African Proverbs possible currently, and also making the work we do in Kenya possible. And also to everyone who contributed on Clubhouse, all the speakers, thank you so much. And on YouTube, we are seeing an immense growth on our subscriber base. We are not seeing enough comments and engagement there. So if you want to just take a minute today, watch some of our videos of for the last couple of weeks, and just leave a comment. Let us know what what you think about this content that we are putting out, and I will personally respond. I am grateful. Chioma, safe travels, and see you all tomorrow. Gogo Rutendo Ngara is going to be our guest. Peace and love.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan.